तो वेलकम बैक टू द स्ट्रीम। आ गए फिर से। आज हम कहेंगे लॉजिकल रीजनिंग, टाइप्स ऑफ अरेंजमेंट। तो और किसी को पढ़ना है तो आ जाओ भाई। हाँ, आई बी प्लेइंग क्वेश्चंस कर रहा हूँ। जो क्वेश्चंस होंगे वो तो मैं स्क्रीन शेयर कर सकता हूँ। और एक वीडियो चल रही होगी पढ़ने वाली की, नहीं पढ़ सकता मैं। तो वो लेकिन मैं दिखा नहीं सकता, क्योंकि दिखाने की कोशिश भी किया तो वो ब्लैक स्क्रीन कर देते हैं, अलाउ नहीं करें। तो वहाँ पे इंस्टेड आई जस्ट शो माय बुक, नोटबुक, एस्थेटिक या व्हाट। तो या तो हम यहाँ करने वाले हैं चैट रेट। हु द फक इज इन द चैट? लेट्स गो। नोबडी। चैट रेट 1 कैसे हुआ? और अब whoever is watching, if watching, फोन करंट व्यूज तो 0 है, तो हो नहीं सकता। देख रहा हूँ। अरे यार, फोन डेड हो जाए। आज में लगाना होगा। चल भाई, ओके, लेट्स गो। 2 मिनट दो मुझे, 2 मिनट। बैक। क्या था? वापस आ गया हूँ।
Hi everyone. Welcome to the concept videos on logical reasoning. Here we're going to start with a set on linear arrangement. Now, let's understand what is linear arrangement. Questions of linear arrangement are asked not only in CAT but a lot of other exams like SNAT, SNAP. What you notice in linear arrangement, normally you'll be given a set of 6 to 7 people or a set of things which have to be arranged in a particular order. Please understand that linear arrangement will form the basis for arrangement, other arrangement like matrix arrangement. So let's start with the set. As it says, basic set. So this is a very simple, very straightforward set. We'll also be taking later on a advanced set to understand what are the things which they can ask in linear arrangements. So let's read this set. So as I read this set, I get a 5 set of instructions. So they're saying the group photograph to be comprising of 7 people. The 7 people in a group photograph where there are some different conditions. So what are the conditions? I'm just going to read through the conditions a bit superficially now. The singer wants to be as far as possible from the hero. Villain wants to sit next to the heroine, and so on. Different conditions are given. We will see them after we questions. From the questions, I normally try to decode is the set simple or not, and from where should my arrangement start. So who is sitting next to the singer? So trying to get the arrangement. Once I get the arrangement, getting this is going to be straightforward. Who's sitting next to the director apart from the big advantage of reading? What are the big advantage? We got one more condition, which is we know that the hero and the director are next to each other. Who is sitting next to the director apart from the hero? So from question two, I know the director and hero are sitting next to each other. So you have one more extra information, you know. And next one, the heroine is sitting in what position? So from the questions, I see that it's a clear cut case that if I get my arrangement right, I'll be able to answer all the questions easily. Okay, we're looking at the instruction and we're going to try and form the arrangement. First, I'm going to look at the second instruction. The villain wants to sit next to the heroine. Well, that's your very typical film villain. He wants to sit next to the heroine, right? So how could that be possible? There are two cases. I could have the villain left, hero right, or vice versa. Really, I don't have any information. So I'm just keeping condition ready and on the next one. The producer wants to next to the writer. So same logic with the writer. I can have the writer next to the left, right. I don't know.
Your arrangement, sitting position and all. Generally, I'm good at this. Not good, but I have interest in this. तो जहाँ इंटरेस्ट होता है वहाँ थोड़ा बाकियों से तो बेटर होता हूँ। तो लेट्स बिगिन। मैं स्क्रीन शेयर करता हूँ लेकिन भाई ये वीडियो में दिखा ही नहीं सकता, काली-काली स्क्रीन आएगी तो वो देख के क्या करोगे? इंस्टेंट लुक एट माय बुक्स एंड सुन-सुन के मेबी साथ में कर लो या और कर लो, करके देखते रहो। स्टडी टुगेदर या
Does not want anyone who is immediate left and wants the director beside him. Now, if the hero does not want anyone to, so just think that if I don't want anyone left, what will happen? I will have to sit side one of the extremes, and there'll be nobody to my left. This is how I'm going to start my arrangement. Now, whenever you write arrangement on a piece of, or if how do you have to think? You have to think that the hero is also facing the same way you are facing. So then the left right confusion. Never try to think that he's facing you, because if you think the left right changes. Here in this case, if you are, what happens is that your left and his left is the same. The hero does not want any left, so that means that, and the director is right. So one director to right. Next one. The hero and the heroine are separated by three, which means there'll be three places between them. There's a hero on the extreme left, there's a director, two empty spaces right now be there, and then the next one. The producer wants to sit next to the writer, and both do not wish to occupy the end. So producer and the writer want to sit together, but they don't want to sit end, neither of them. So what does that tell you? That the producer and the writer will have to be the center to have, because they cannot be in the extreme positions. So producer and writer center two. Next one, we are left with what? We are now left with only the singer and now I knew that the villain was next to the heroine. We already knew that the villain had to be, and the last position left is for the singer. You can directly put it, or you could actually put from the earlier condition as far as possible from the hero was on the extreme left, the singer has to be on simple arrangement. Got it very quickly. Let's go and answer the question. Your arrangement. Who's sitting the desk? That will become can't say the fourth option. Can't say is as good as cannot be written. One and the right. Next one, the heroine is sitting what position from left? Count from the left. The fifth position, and that will be option two. So what have you understood? Straightforward, very difficult. The data is simple to understand, and we will be taking one more set later. But understand that linear arrangement also. Hi everyone. Welcome to the concept on logical. Next set we go over here is on circular arrangement. Again, a circular basic set. Again, not a very difficult one. Should be very easy. We'll also, so who's the only person sitting Gita and Sita? At least one more thing I know, there is Sita, and there's only one person them, which will help me understand the set maybe. Again, I know that if I get the arrangement to answer this question, there is no added information in the set. Sita is Sitting at equal distance from whom? Fair enough. Not much that it helps me. Geeta is sitting to the right or left of third one. The angle separated by Meeta
I
and
think
Neeta
yeah.
at the center is what? Knowing some basics of geometry and circles, that is, should not be very difficult. Which of the following statement is not correct? So we've got four statements. We'll come to them as we read the questions later. Let's try and form the arrangement. Now, six friends are sitting around a circular table at equal distance from each other. So let's first form a circular table, and there are six spots where these friends could sit. Sita is sitting places to the right of Geeta. Now understand the important thing. There is no starting. Think logically. Any circle does not have a starting point. So whatever point you I could put Geeta or Sita anybody in any position and then make the other two positions. Let's start with this. Sita is sitting places to the right of Geeta. Now, in a circular arrangement, one very important thing is you always assume that the person, people who are there are facing inside. So the right and left is very. If I'm facing inside, my right is here and my left. But if I was facing outside, my right opposites are also very clear. If I just randomly put numbers 1, 2, 5, 6, 1 and left of Lata. So if Nita is on the left, anyway the one position uh, and that will be your last position. So we've got our arrangement as I had promised. Let's try and answer the who's the only person sitting Geeta and Sita. So the only people sitting person Geeta and Sita is Rita, and that will be your first option. That's your answer. Let's look at the next one. Sita is not sitting equal distance from whom? So here we'll have to go option and try and see. Sita is not sitting equal distance from whom? So that is the position Sita is. Now first option says Rita and Nita. Is she equal distance? Yes. The question is not sitting. So the first option is not your answer. Second one is Lata and Geeta. How many positions Lata and Geeta? So Lata is two positions to the right and Geeta is two
Meeta
positions to
Geeta.
the left. So she is equidistant. Geeta and while Meeta will be three positions. So that's clearly your answer. Answer is the third option. Next question. Geeta is sitting to the left of whom? Oh, sorry, sitting the options are given left, right, and so on. So let's take Geeta's position. So Geeta is there, is to the left of Meeta. Not necessarily because Geeta's left would Lata. Geeta is actually to Meeta's right, so that's not. Second one, to the right of Rita. Rita's right will be Rita, so again that's not. The left of Rita. Yes, Rita's left where Geeta is sitting. That is your answer. Next one, the angle subtended by Meeta and Nita. Now, before we go ahead, let's understand some geometry. The whole circle will be 60 degrees. It has been divided into 6 parts. Each part is 60 degrees. right? So the angle between any two people who are sitting next to each other is automatically 60 degrees. So in this case, between Nita and Nita, the angle is going to be double of 60 because there is one more person between them, and hence the answer is 120 degrees. Second option. Last question. Which of the following statement is not correct? Normally, you're not making mistakes in this, whether it is correct, not correct. So please be careful about which of the following statement is not correct. Meeta and Sita are sitting exactly opposite to each other. Yes, you can say sitting exactly opposite to each other. So that statement is correct. So that's not your answer. Rita and Meeta are sitting at an equal distance from Geeta. So Rita and Meeta, are they sitting equal distance from Geeta? Yes, one on the right. So Rita and Meeta, I can see the angle is 120. Is same as the angle Sita and Lata. That is also 120. That's also that statement is also correct. So three options were wrong. Now please understand it is your job in the exam to check examiners some correctly or not. That's the examiner's job. If you have been able to eliminate two options in a test scenario, I would never waste time even reading the fourth option. I would have directly marked the answer. But right now, because we are practicing, we will just go through it. So Meeta is on the left of Lata. So where is Lata? That's Lata's position. Now, to the left of Lata is actually Meeta. They're talking about Meeta, who's actually to the right. So that statement is not correct, and hence statement 4 is your answer. So that was a set logical reasoning, circular arrangement. Again, as I had said, very basic set, not a very difficult set. In the advanced set, we will be learning about inside and outside seating, and hence the left-right position. Hi, welcome to a concept video on matrix arrangement. As you can see on the screen, we have taken a basic set first to explain the very simple
As you can see,
arrangement tricks which have to be used for such questions. Now,
he's
what do we
trying to
mean by
rob me.
matrix arrangement? In matrix arrangement, there
That
will
guy
be
is a
different
fool.
conditions given to you, and you have to try and make a table around it, which will help you
He wants to
satisfy
take
all
my
those conditions.
money.
So let's see the condition and the
Take it
question.
with him. Go
Four
home with
people,
it.
A, B, C, D.
Feed
I'm not
his
interested in the name.
children.
Bharat, Carlos, and Dheeraj.
But he
No point
forgets.
wasting on reading the names.
I have
Three
children
on four
too.
different floors of a building,
Nobody
and each of them
knows.
with a particular brand
It's
of
in
car, like the
Bermuda.
Omni, Honda, and CLO. Just concentrate on the
I
alphabets
need
first.
to
All the
feed
four
them
are given
before
to you.
they get
You can
lost
just
in the
concentrate on the
triangle.
alphabets. Now, some four conditions are given, obviously, which I will use when I start reading the question or making the matrix. Before that, as my habit is, let's read the
क्या
questions
बोल
first.
रहा था मैं सुना ही नहीं.
Questions this time are given without options because it's a simple set. Who stays on the first
Now,
floor?
how will I deal with
Who
this robber?
prefers the seat? Who stays between
I'll
Carlos
take
and
his
Dheeraj?
anus.
Which means if I get my arrangement right, I should be able to answer the
I'll
question
get him
very
out.
simply.
What?
First,
He likes
let's
it.
look at the information given and let's try
What
and
am I
make a
gonna do?
table. So
He
what
likes
I've done
being
is I've
gay.
created a standard table, the person, the name of the
How
person,
am I
the
going
A,
to
B,
do
C,
my
D.
trump
The
card?
floor is blank.
How am I
We'll
going
start
to play
filling the
that?
information as we start getting them. Always look
Hey,
for
hey,
positive information.
get off, get off.
Ashraf
I'm
either
not
the
really
third or
gay.
the fourth and prefers Toyota. So at least I definitely know the car for
I'm
Ashraf
somewhat straight.
is Toyota. For 4, it is 3 or 4. So I've just put a slash 3 slash 4.
I'm a bit gay.
Next one.
Not the
Person who
penetrative
likes
one,
Honda
just the
fourth
kissing
floor,
one.
which means Ashraf cannot be on the fourth floor because we just said Ashraf has Toyota and he's on the third or the fourth floor, but the fourth floor is Toyota, which means Ashraf will become third floor definitely. Now, which means if I
मुझे
get
फिर
my
से शुरू
arrangement right,
करना
I should be
होगा
able to
कुछ भी
answer the
बोल रहा.
question. Around it, which will help you satisfy all those conditions. So let's see the condition and the question. In matrix arrangement, there will be different conditions given to you, and you have to try and make a table around it, which will help you satisfy all those conditions. So let's see the condition and the question. 4 people, A, B, C, D. I'm not interested in the name. Ashraf, Bharat, Carlos, and Dheeraj. No point wasting your time on reading the names. Stay on 4 different floors of a building, and each of them prefer a particular brand of car like the Omni, Toyota, Honda, and CLO. Just concentrate on the alphabets. All the 4 alphabets are different. You can just concentrate on the alphabets. Now, some 4 conditions are given, obviously, which I will use when I start reading the
अरे
question
भाई माइ
or
कैमरे को
making the
जूम
matrix.
कैसे
Before
करते
that,
हैं?
as my habit is, let's read the questions first. Questions this time are given without options because it's a simple set. Who stays on the first floor? Who prefers the Celio? Who stays between Carlos and Dheeraj? So which means if I get my arrangement right, I should be able to answer the questions very simply. Who prefers the Celio?
अशरफ अली के कुत्ते।
Of a building, and each of them prefer a particular brand of car like the Omni, Toyota, Honda, and Cielo. Just concentrate on the alphabets. All the four alphabets are different. You can just concentrate on the alphabets. Now, some four conditions are given, obviously, which I will use when I start reading the question or making the matrix. Before that, as my habit is, let's read the questions first. Questions this time are given without options because it's a simple set. Who stays on the first floor? Who prefers the Celio? Who stays between Carlos and Dheeraj? So which means if I get my arrangement right, I should be able to answer the questions very simply. From the alphabets, all those conditions. So let's see the conditions and the question. Four people, A, B, C, D. I'm not interested in the name. Ashraf, Bharat, Carlos, and Dheeraj. No point wasting your time on reading the names. Stay on four different floors of a building, and each of them prefer a particular brand of car like the Omni, Toyota, Honda, and Cielo. Just concentrate on the alphabets. All the four alphabets are different. You can just concentrate on the alphabets. Now, some four conditions are given, obviously, which I will use when I start reading the question or making the matrix. Before that, as my habit is, let's read the questions first. Questions this time are given without options because it's a simple set. Who stays on the first floor? Who prefers the Celio? Who stays between Carlos and Dheeraj? So which means if I get my arrangement right, I should be able to answer the questions very simply. First one. Let's look at the information given and let's try and make our table. So what I've done is I've created a standard table. The person, the name of the four people, A, B, C, D. The floor and the car is blank. We'll start putting the information as we start getting them. Always look for positive information. Ashraf takes either the third or the fourth floor and prefers Toyota. So at least I definitely know the car for Ashraf is Toyota. For 4, it is 3 or floor. So I've just put a slash 3/4. Next one, person who likes Honda stays on the fourth floor, which means Ashraf cannot be on the fourth floor because we just said Ashraf has Toyota and he's on the third or the fourth floor, but the fourth floor is Toyota, which means Ashraf will become third floor definitely. Now, because Ashraf becomes third, I still don't know who likes the Honda and the fourth floor. So hence, Honda fourth floor is the information which I will use later. I've just put it down, right? Next one. Bharat stays just above the person who likes Celio. Now, Bharat stays above somebody who likes Celio. So Bharat now cannot be on the first floor and cannot be on the fourth floor also because Bharat is the person who likes Honda is on the fourth floor, stays above Toyota. So if Bharat stays above who likes Celio, the Celio has to be first floor and Bharat has to be second floor. Now the only car left for Bharat will be Omni. So hence we will have Omni for Bharat. As
ले
Dheeraj stays on a higher floor than Carlos, so out of the two floors left,
भारत
Dheeraj
तो
will be on the
किडनैपर
fourth
निकला।
floor and Carlos will be on the first floor. I already know fourth floor is Honda, first floor is Celio, and therefore Omni will become Bharat. So we've got Who stays between Carlos and make our town? Right? Next one. And Dheeraj stays on the higher Celio, and therefore Omni will become Bharat. So we've got a table. As I had said, it was a very, very basic set. It was maybe just like a starter set for you.
बन गया
We've got
मेरा
all
भी.
the information. Let's try and answer the questions based on this. Who stays on the first floor? So we can clearly see the first floor is Carlos.
Carlos भैया.
Who prefers the Celio? The Celio is preferred again by Carlos.
दोस्त.
Who stays between Carlos and Dheeraj? Carlos and Dheeraj. Carlos stays on the first floor. Dheeraj stays on the fourth floor. So who stays between them? Both Ashraf and Bharat. So the answer could be Ashraf and Bharat, either one of them. So depending on your options, you will be able to answer them. So that was your set. Now, please understand that you might not see a very simple set like this in your test, but this will be your building block for slightly more difficult sets. In fact, we will be having one more set of matrix arrangement, will be a slightly more difficult one. Hi everyone, welcome to the next concept video that is on circular arrangement advanced. Before going through this video, please go through your basic circular arrangements set, because this set will also have inside outside sitting and basically facing inside and outside. So I'm sure before you go through this set, you should go through the basic one in advance. Now let's look at the set and the conditions given to us. It is about 7 friends A to G who are sitting in a circular table facing either the center or outside. That's the first thing which I told you. They belong to different departments. So that means besides the sitting, there is also which department do they belong to. Somebody belongs to finance, marketing, sales, HR, corporate, and so on. Then obviously the conditions are given, which we will use while making the set. Let's read the questions first based on this. For which of the following department does B work? So here I don't need to know B's arrangement, but need to know the department. What is the position of B with respect to the person who works for sales department? Fair enough. What I'm trying to understand from the questions is whether they are direct questions or not. How many people sit between the person who works for operation department and A when counted from the right hand side of A? Now right hand side of A, because they could be facing inside outside, could be different, so we'll be careful there. Next two questions. Who among the following sits exactly between C and the person who works for the HR department? Tells me that C does not work for the HR department. Who among the following sit between the people who work for the marketing and investment banking department when counted from the left hand side of the marketing department? Well, questions look direct. If I get my arrangement right, questions should not be very difficult. So as I will read the conditions, I'll try and see whether my arrangement is possible or not, and is it easy or not. Let's look at the data. Now, in this particular case, we can see we put the circular arrangement where there are 7 seats. So we put 7 dots for you, the 7 seats over there. Now, let's start with the conditions. C sits third to the right of G while G faces the center. Now, in a circular arrangement, there is no start point or end points. I can start with wherever I want. So I'm starting with G over right on the top. G faces the center. So his right and his left. So please think a little bit logically. If you're facing the center, your right is here. But if you're facing outside, your right would change. So C sits third to the right of G. So third to the right of G, we got the position of C. Next one. Immediate neighbors of C, G faces the center. Now, in a circular arrangement, please think a little bit logically. See, next one. Immediate neighbors of C face outside. So both the neighbors of C will face outside. So we've given the arrows on the outside. We don't know how C faces. C could be facing inside or outside, right? Next one. Only one person sits between F and D, and both F and D face the center. Now this is interesting because of the information I have. Both F and D have to face the center and only one person sits between them. How is that going to be possible based on these conditions? Right? If you look at two, basically I need three positions in such a way that F and D have to face the center and one person has to be between them. So the only possibilities are that G is that one person sitting between them and F and D could be on either sides of G. So we don't know where is F and where is D. So I've just put that F dash D and both of them are facing the center, which means three consecutive people are facing the center, F, D, G and DF. Next one. A faces the center. So we've got A's position because everybody else, the two other people left were facing outside. So A has to be that one person facing the center left. Next, A works with investment banking department. So let's put the department for A. A is working for the investment banking department. I still haven't got two people sitting, right? I still haven't got B and E. We'll come to that later. Only one person sits between C and the person working in the HR department. C and the HR department, there's only one person sitting. So where is the HR department? It could have been A or it could be FD, but A is already IB, that is investment banking. So that has to be that FD. So that is HR department, FD to the left of C. I don't know whether that's left or right because we don't know C's position, whether he's facing inside or outside. Next one. D does not work in the HR department. Now, if D does not work in that HR department, so HR department will have to become F and hence the other DF will have to become D. So, one of the DF became F and the other DF became D. We got that positions. Two people sit between the person who works in the investment banking and marketing department. Now, investment banking and marketing. So, investment banking is A. To right of A after two places is HR. So, that is definitely not the position we are looking for. They said between investment banking and marketing, which means marketing will have to be on the other side, which means that one position which we still don't know who that person is, whether it is B or E, is marketing. Two people sit between investment banking and marketing, that will be C and one more missing person. The person who faces, who works in corporate finance sits to the immediate left of E. Now, where is corporate finance? Now, if you look, one, the person who's working in marketing is looking outside, and there's one more person looking outside. The person who works in corporate finance sits to the immediate left of E. Now, we know that B and E are missing, which means corporate finance will have to be CF, will have to face outside, and E is marketing, which means there's only one person left, that is B. That also we will get. The person looking outside. The person who works in corporate finance sits to the immediate left of E. Now we know that B and E are missing, which means corporate finance will have to be CF, will have to face outside, and E is marketing, which means there's only one person left, that is B. That also we will get. The person who works for sales department sits to the immediate left of the person who works for the operation department. So sales is sitting immediately to the left of the operation departments. So that will be G and D simultaneously. D will be sits to the immediate left of the person who works for the operation department. So sales is sitting immediately to the left of the operation departments. So that will be G and D simultaneously. D will be sales and G will be operations. We obviously know B will be finance. There's only one left, and that is also facing outside. Immediate left of E. Now, where is corporate finance? Now, if you look, the person who's working in marketing is looking outside, and there's one more person looking outside. The person who works in corporate finance sits to the immediate left is marketing, which means there's only one person left, that is B. That also we will get. The person who works for sales department sits to the immediate left of the person who works for the operation department. So sales is sitting immediate to the left of the operation departments. So that will be G and D simultaneously. simultaneously. D will be sales and G will be operations. We obviously know B will be finance. There's only one left, and that is also facing outside. So we've got all the information, we've got all the names, whether they're facing inside, whether they're facing outside, right, left, all that is clear. And obviously all the departments also are clear. Again, as like the previous video, please take a pause over here, go through this arrangement once more if need be, and then read the question, because the questions are going to be very simple to answer. Let's start with the questions now. Which of the following department does B work for? So we can see B works is facing inside to the left of D, and you can see that second to the left, right? Second question. What is the position of B with respect to the person who works for the sales department? So the sales department is D, right? Now, where is B? B will be to the left of D because D is facing inside, to the left of D, and you can see that second to the left. So second to the left is the fourth option, and hence the answer will be your fourth option. B is second to the left of D, right? Let's go through that again. 2, right, works for the HR department. So C and HR department is E, who works for the marketing department. So the person who works for the marketing department, and that is option 2, right? Last question. Who among the following sit between the people who work for the marketing and the investment banking department when counting? Not necessarily a circular table. The table could be a square table or a rectangular table, or some other conditions could be given, and based on that, the people are sitting around it. So let's try and read the set and the conditions related to that. So it is told to us that there are 8 people A to H who are sitting around a square table in such a way that 4 of them sit at the 4 corners of the square facing outside. So the 4 corners, 4 people are sitting who are facing outside, and the other 4 sit at the center, the middle of each of the 4 sides facing inside. So pretty interesting one, that is 4 people are facing inside, 4 outside, 4 are sitting on corners, and 4 are sitting in the middle of the sides. Again, the conditions we'll read as we try and make the set. Let's look at the questions now. The first question says, who sits exactly between F and A? Should be a direct question once I get my arrangement in place. How many persons sit between A and H when counted in the anti-clockwise direction from A? Again, will depend on the arrangement. 3 of the following 4 are like in a certain way based on their seating positions in the above arrangement, and so form a group. Which is the one that does not belong to the group? So find the odd man out of these 4 based on the seating arrangement. What is the position of F with respect to C? I think the questions are pretty direct. Once we get the arrangement, we should be able to easily solve the questions. So let's start the set. Now, this is the square we have for 8 people. Now, if you read very carefully, they have told us that 4 of them sit at the corners and 4 at the middle of the sides. So A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H are sitting around a square table in such a way that 4 of them sit at 4 corners of the square table facing outside. So the ones who are the corners are facing outside, while the other 4 are facing inside. Let's use the condition. F sits in the middle of one of the sides of the table. So F is in the middle of one of the sides. So I can put F wherever I want. That doesn't really matter, because in a square, all the 4 sides are same. So F is taken as shown in the diagram. A sits second to the right of F. Now F is facing inside, so his right will come from this side, and that will be A over there, who's also sitting in the facing inside. Next one, G, who does not sit at any of the corners of the table, sits second to the right of D. Now, second to the right of D. Now A is already to the second to the right of F, which means second to the right of D will be only position possible is there. D and G will be the only 2 positions. positions as shown. Now, if somebody is second to the right of D and he's in the center, that means D is also in the center, right? So D and G are the two positions at the centers left. Now we are left with only the corner positions. All A, D, G, F, all are facing inside. Next condition, only two people sit between D and B. So between D and B there are two people and B is not the immediate neighbor of G, which means what? B will have to be the other side, that is next to A or between A and F. Let's go through that again. B is not the neighbor of G and it was told those two people sit between D and B. So that means B will have to be after A and next to F. Next condition, H sits second to the left of B. Now B is the same, the above arrangement. And C, this is the square we have for 8 people. Now if you read very carefully, they have told us that 4 of them sit at the corners and 4 in the middle of the sides. So A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H are sitting around a square table in such a way that 4 of them sit at 4 corners of the square table facing outside. So the ones who are the corners are facing outside while the other 4 are facing inside. Let's use the condition. F sits in the middle of one of the sides of the table. So F is in the middle of one of the sides. So I can put F wherever I want. That doesn't really matter. Because in a square, all the four sides are same. So F is taken as shown in the diagram. A sits second to the right of F. Now F is facing inside, so his right will come from this side, and that will be A over there, who's also sitting in the facing inside. Next one, G, who does not sit at any of the corners of the table, sits second to the right of D. Now, second to the right of D. Now, A is already to the second to the right of F, which means second to the right of D will be only position possible is there. Second to the right of D, only two positions as shown.
बन गो.
Shown. Now, if somebody is second to the right of D and he's in the center, that means D is also in the center, right? So D and G are the two positions at the centers left. Now we are left with only the corner positions. All A, D, G, F, all are facing inside. Next condition, only two people sit between D and B. So between D and B, there are two people, and B is not the immediate neighbor of G. which means what? B will have to be the other side, that is next to A or between A and F. Let's go through that again. B is not the neighbor of G, and it was told those two people sit between D and B. So that means B will have to be after A and next to F. Next condition, H sits second to the left of B. Now B is facing outside. Second to the left will be next to A. That will be position of H. Next, G and D are immediate neighbors of C. G and D are neighbors of C. That means C lies between G and D. That is one more position. We are left with only one of them, which will be now E.
G
We
and
got
D.
all the 8 arrangements and we know who's facing outside, who's facing inside. Once you
Why
got
do I
these
do
things,
this?
answering the question should
चुपचाप
be
के नहीं पढ़
very
लेता?
straightforward.
मेरा आंसर सही आया बाय
Let's
द
see the
वे।
first question.
तुम देख भी नहीं
Who
पा
sits
रहे, मैं
exactly
बस
between
प्रैक्टिस
F
के लिए
and
कर
A?
रहा हूँ ये,
So let's see
और
between
कुछ नहीं।
F and A. Who's there between F and A? That will be B. That
कोई
means
भी नहीं
option
देख रहा,
one.
जीरो व्यूज, जीरो।
Next one.
अकेला बैठा
How
हूँ।
many people or how many persons sit between A and H when
बढ़िया है,
counted in
किसी
the
दिन
anti-clockwise direction of
लोग
A?
लोगों को
So
मिलेगी
between A
शायद,
and H
मे बी।
counted in the anti-clockwise direction.
I'll be your top guy.
So
You
what will
too
be
top
answer?
guy.
How many persons sit between
Someday.
A and H when counted in
You
the
too.
anti-clockwise direction? Answer will be 0. There is nobody sitting between them. Next one. Three of the following four are alike in a certain way based on their seating positions in the above arrangement and so form a group. Which is the one that does not belong to the group, which is the odd man out? So let's take all the four of them. So that is F, there is A, there is G, and there is E. So if you notice that F, A, and G all are in the middle of the sides, while E is the only one who's at the corner of the square, which means E will be the odd man out, and hence answer will be the fourth option. Last question.
बस देने
What
की
is the
जरूरत नहीं है
immediate position
इसमें।
of F with respect to C?
एक बार ही बन जाता
So
है,
F
उसके बाद तो
with
आसान
respect
होता है,
to
आसान।
C.
तो
So
आंसर
if I'm looking at C, C we know is facing
अरेंजमेंट बनाने की
outside.
दिक्कत होती है।
So is it immediate to the left? Clearly not immediate to the left. What about immediate to right? Definitely not immediate to right. Second to the left or third to the left? We can see it is clear.
वाह 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 वाह। अब पढ़ने का मन नहीं कर रहा, रेडी भी होना है जिम के लिए। ओह, ये लंबी वीडियो है क्या? 6 मिनट। पकड़ों भी है भाई, क्या करूं? कोई भी ना है उधर। मैं किससे बात कर रहा होता हूँ? स्किज़ोफ्रेनिया। आई एम टॉटिंग। Why do I fuck up my pronunciations? मेरी खराब नहीं है, मुझे बोलने आता है। मैं बोलने लगता हूँ, मैं मडल अप कर देता हूँ। इंग्लिश में नहीं, कभी बार देख देख अभी हुआ, कभी-कभी हिंदी में भी। व्हाई? इंग्लिश में ज़्यादा होता है क्योंकि ऑब्वियसली ज़्यादा सोचना पड़ता है। और ये भाई क्वेश्चन देख के लग रहा है मुझे टाइम लगेगा। बहुत सारी चीज़ें हैं, स्पोर्ट्स टेबल हैं, एटसेट्रा, 3-4 वेरिएबल वाले, दिमाग खराब करते हैं मेरा। मैंने कहा था काफ़ी किया है ऐसे अभी हमने। तो क्या बात करें? मैनचेस्टर यूनाइटेड। Fuck this shit up now. Okay? Okay. Let's pan the camera towards me. We back. बाल मेरे बाल बाल fucking nail man। बात करते हैं अपने यूनाइटेड की। I'll show some। अरे भाई पूरा क्यों होना। रे 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 Woo, woo, woo। देख रहे हो ये तुम। फुटबॉल फुटबॉल रैंडम। प्लीज ट्रू जॉडी को क्या हो गया भाई। सार के एक्सपोज्ड। ये कौन सा बंदा बार बार मेरे रिकमेंडेशन में आता रहता है। कौन है ये, कहाँ गया कहाँ गया। अरे अभी क्यों नहीं है, हर टाइम आता है जब दिखाना होता है तब नहीं आया। फैन नॉलन। भाई UFC 322 कब हुआ बे। I never knew that। I never knew that। What? What? बैठा हुआ हूँ अपने पर्सनल वाले पे, क्यों बैठा हूँ। GTA 4 भी खेल सकते थे। टाइम नहीं है एक मिशन करने में, 20 मिनट 40 मिनट तो लग जाते हैं। टाइटल बदलूं मैं जरा इसका। सेटिंग इधर से चेंज। यू एडिट स्टूडियो। रॉक क्रिएटर स्टूडियो। वेयर इज माय स्ट्रीम, वेयर इज माय स्ट्रीम। जाने वो तुम। ये पहले तो तू हट ना। हम ना अरे गाना गाऊं क्या है। तुम्हें दिल लगी भूल जानी पड़ेगी। कभी दिल किसी से लगा कर तो देखो। तड़पने पे मेरे ना फिर तुम हंसोगे। कभी दिल किसी से लगा कर तो देखो। कभी दिल के वो बड़ी जोर से बोलता है। फिर तुम हंसोगे। कभी दिल किसी से लगा कर तो देखो। जग जाग ले के फिर ये हँसी रात हो न हो, शायद फिर इस जन्म मुलाकात हो न हो, थक जा गले से। लेट्स टॉक मैन यूनाइटेड। ओके, पूरा बड़ा कर ले। यस, वो भी है। वो कौन सा बच्चे की वो मीम है, फॉलो फेमस था वो, रैंडम यूज करते रहते हैं खास। हे, लेट्स सी, लेट्स टॉक मैन यूनाइटेड। ओके, लेट्स टॉक अबाउट देम फाइनल। हमने अब तक बात नहीं करी। ये चैनल भाई ऐसे ना, मैंने खोला किस लिए? फिलहाल तो मैं बस कैट की तैयारी कर रहा हूँ, पर मेरा विजन लॉन्ग है। यू नो, आई हैव नो शॉर्ट टर्म गोल। नहीं, वो भी है, बट विजन इज लॉन्ग। ये जैसे अमोरिम ने अभी बोला है ना भाई, मुझे स्टॉप गैप साइनिंग नहीं चाहिए, मुझे चाहिए फ्यूचर प्रूफ साइनिंग। भाई करियर मूव्स शुड बी फ्यूचर प्रूफ। कि मेरा भी गोल वही है, तो क्या बोले, आएगा, और भी कंटेंट आएगा। अभी फिलहाल कुछ दिन के लिए यही यही सीख में करना होगा, कुछ महीने। मैं इसको ना वैसे यूज़ कर रहा हूँ, मुझे एडिटिंग और उस सब का टाइम नहीं मिलता, तो सिर्फ वीडियोस ही डाल रहा हूँ। ये दिस विल बी लाइक प्रैक्टिस स्ट्रीम, नहीं, दीज विल बी लाइक प्रैक्टिस स्ट्रीम्स। मैं किसी से बात नहीं कर रहा, अभी ज़ीरो लोग बैठे हुए हैं। तो आई नो यू स्टार्ट फ्रॉम समवेयर, एवरीबॉडी स्टार्ट्स फ्रॉम ज़ीरो, बट यू नो, एटलीस्ट मैं कैमरे के सामने आता हूँ, बात कर लेता हूँ, कुछ कर लेता हूँ। तो वो हो जाता है कि ओह! स्टीव स्टीव, यूट्यूब यूट्यूब, व्हाट द फक इज़ दैट? हाँ, बस बैठ के करते रहते हैं, देखते हैं चलेगा, चलेगा, नहीं चलेगा। एक चीज़ थोड़ी करनी है भाई ज़िंदगी में, बहुत कुछ करने हैं। तो भाई किया ये मैंने कि अभी मैं पढ़ाई वाली स्ट्रीम्स करूँगा, और बाद में बीच-बीच में अभी भी सोच रहा हूँ 1-2 दिन में वो फुल डे वाली स्ट्रीम करूँ, 10-12 घंटे वाली, और ब्रेक टाइम जो होगा उसमें गेम खेलेंगे भाई। गेम, चैट में कोई आए तो बता देना भाई, कोई आता तो है नहीं। तो खुद ही चूज़ करके कोई भी गेम उठा के मैं खेलने लग जाऊँगा भाई। आधा 1 घंटे खेलेंगे, फिर चेंज करके वापस पढ़ाई। एक गोल सेट कर लेंगे, वो गोल खत्म हुआ, वापस गेमिंग। मैच चल रहा है भाई, वॉच अलोंग करने वाला हूँ मैं। ग्रीन स्क्रीन लगाऊँगा भाई, पीछे बैकग्राउंड वैकग्राउंड सेट करना सीखना है। पता नहीं वो प बैनर वैनर कैसे लगाते हैं, ग्रीन स्क्रीन तो लगा दूँगा, सीन भी सेट कर दूँगा। भाई वो बैनर कैसे लगाते हैं पता नहीं, उन मुझे लगता था मैं देखता हूँ ना 2-3 फैन चैनल्स, और ये मै मार्क गोल्डब्रिज, भाई वो बंदे का रूम मुझे पहले लगता था कि वो एक्चुअल में ट्रॉफीज़ और वो सब चीज़ें रखी होती है। घंटा कुछ नहीं रखता था, सब सीजीआई है। एवरीथिंग डॉक्टर्ड। वो वही सीखना है कैसे करते हैं, या फिर कोई बना के देगा शायद, बना के देगा वो, या खुद सीखेंगे, सीख सकते हैं तो। या कोई प्रीसेट होगा मे बी, देखते हैं। तो या ये था चैनल का वो, कि चैनल पे क्या होने वाला है। और दूसरा, अब बात करते हैं यूनाइटेड, ओके? यूनाइटेड कहाँ जा रहा है भाई? हम अभी स्कोर अगर मैं चेक करूँ, क्या है स्कोर नहीं, अपनी हालत, प्रीमियर लीग इज़ वेल, हाँ, हम हैं अभी भाई 8th, और फॉर्म में लास्ट 5 में से हम 3 जीते हैं, 1 हारे हैं, 1 ड्रॉ हुआ है। हमें पता ही है क्या हुआ है। लास्ट 3 जीते थे, एक लास्ट 4 में से 3 जीते हैं, और अभी लास्ट वाला मैच ड्रॉ हो गया विद अपना नॉटिंघम फॉरेस्ट। नो, नो, आई एम सीइंग लॉट ऑफ पीपल ट्विटर पे, भाई कुछ भी आउट ऑफ पॉकेट शिट बोल रहे हैं। क्यों? क्या मिल रहा है? आई थिंक दे आर जस्ट द पीपल, वो उनको ना बस क्या कहते हैं, कुछ बुरा हो, ओह यस मौका मिल गया कूदने का, भाई मैं कूदूँगा इस पे। लंड बुरा लगे उस पे कूद जाएँगे वो भाई, उन्हें फ़र्क ना पड़े। जो चीज़ बुरी लग रही है भाई, यू नो, कंट्रोवर्सी फैलानी है, एक बारी माइंड बना लिया, तो अब भौंकना ही है, हैं? नहीं? भाई उनने एक बारी मन बनाया कि ग्रिम्सबी के बाद अब हो गया, अमरिम, आई हैव हैड इनफ, यू नो, इट्स फाइन। अगर तुम सोचते हो कि आमिर इज़ नॉट द गाय, बट भाई यू कैन नॉट जस्ट बी इलॉजिकल, राइट? तुम भाई देख रहे हो भगी हुई हालत थी, पिछले साल 15 पे आए थे, हैं? 15th कभी इतना नीचे नहीं आए, या मे बी कभी आए होंगे 80s, तो बस भी बेब्स एंड वो अलग दिन थे। बट प्रीमियर लीग में कभी इतना नीचे नहीं आए, लाइक अनप्रेसिडेंटेड डाउनफॉल। और स्क्वाड देखो, 15th वाला स्क्वाड तो नहीं है भाई, नो वे, 15th वाला स्क्वाड नहीं है, फिर भी 15th आए। क्यों? यू कैन ब्लेम द मैनेजर देयर। उसने बोला भाई मेरे को ऐसे स्टाइल में खेलना है, वो वही खेल रहा उस सीज़न में। नाउ समबडी वुड से कि उसको अडैप्ट करना चाहिए, उसने बोला कि ना मैं अडैप्ट नहीं करूँगा भाई, ये फिर आई विल बी नॉट माई सेल्फ। तो ठीक है, ठीक है नहीं मतलब क्या हो रहा है? हाँ, 15th कहाँ था मैं? हाँ, 15th उसने बोला ना, आई वोंट चेंज माय स्टाइल अदरवाइज़ आई विल बी नॉट माई सेल्फ। ग्रांटेड, बट कोई बोलेगा थोड़ा तो चेंज कर, नो, एट लीस्ट 15th मत आ, कुछ तो कर। यूरोपियन फाइनल खेल रहा है, कुछ तो चेंज कर, नो, मे बी गो फॉर 3-3 वन्स, फाइनल है भाई, चले जाओ। पर वो पिछला सीज़न है ना, अब वो नहीं गया तो नहीं गया, ठीक है? यू माइट बी एंग्री कि हमने स्पर्स को पहला ट्रॉफी दे वी आर द वन जिनने स्पर्स का बैंटर एरा खत्म करा। उन्हें खत्म नहीं किया, अभी हाल देखो उनका। जस्ट गो एंड वॉच भाई 0.05 एक्सजी अगेंस्ट चेल्सी। व्हाट द फक इज दैट? मैं घर पे बैठे-बैठे उससे ज़्यादा एक्सजी ले आया था अगेंस्ट चेल्सी। कोई तुम सबका एक्सजी उनसे ज़्यादा है भाई स्पर्स का। जो घर पे बैठा है, तुम अगर स्टैंड्स में हो तुम्हारा तो उनसे ज़्यादा है ही, है ना? तो व्हाट द फक वाज़ दैट? उनकी हालत देखो, अपनी हालत देखो। वी वर ऑन अ स्ट्रीक। उनके फैन्स का मैं सुनता हूँ भाई वो गाली देते हैं, इतना बोरिंग, इतना बोरिंग, इतना बोरिंग। अपने फैन्स भी का भी सुनो तो भाई यही लगेगा कि वो भी गाली देते हैं। भाई आई थिंक दिस इज़ सेंसेशनलाइज़ेशन और यूनाइटेड क्लिक्स लाता है साला। कई लोग तो प्रिटेंड करते हैं अपना फैन होने, है ना? चुपचाप देख लो भाई। क्या चाहिए? 15 पॉइंट्स में से 12 लिए हैं हमने। 12? 11? 5? हाँ, 11 पॉइंट्स लिए हैं हमने, सॉरी 10 नहीं। अबे भाई मैथ क्यों नहीं हो रही? अभी कैट छोड़ के आया हूँ मैं, कैसा हूँ मैं? कैट की तैयारी कर रहा था, पढ़ रहा था। तो 3 मैचेज़ और 1 ड्रॉ, हाँ, 10 पॉइंट हुए ना? 12 में से 10 पॉइंट लिए हैं, क्या बोले जा रहा हूँ मैं? नहीं, नेवर डू मैथ्स लाइव। अब मेरी मैथ खराब भी नहीं है लेकिन प्रेशर में नहीं हूँ। जब कोई नहीं बैठा है, यहाँ 0 लोग। 5 मैचेज़ हुए, दैट इज़ 15 पॉइंट्स, उसमें से 3 जीते हैं, दैट इज़ 9 पॉइंट। 1 ड्रॉ हुआ है, 10 पॉइंट, ठीक है? 1 हारे हैं, तो अपने 5 पॉइंट लूज़ हुए, तो 15 में से 10 पॉइंट। लेकिन पिछले 4 मैचेज़ में देखो, 12 में से 10 मैचेज़ लिए हैं, सॉरी 12 में से 10 पॉइंट लिए हैं। दैट इज़ एनकरेजमेंट ब्रो, व्हाट एल्स डू यू वांट? सारे मैच थोड़ी जीतते जाएँगे, नॉटिंघम बुरी टीम नहीं है। पिछले सीज़न थर्ड टॉप 4 में थी मोस्ट ऑफ द टाइम। वो बाद में चोक कर गई, दैट वाज़ प्रोबेबली देयर रियल पोज़ीशन, यू नो वो फ़ॉल्स पोज़ीशन, वो एक्सजी को भी वो कर रहे थे अपना आउट परफ़ॉर्म। तो दे डिड वेल जहाँ भी वो आए, फिर उसके बाद उन्होंने हक दिया क्रिस्टल पैलेस के ऊपर, एकदम कती बर्ड फूट, पास फैला। आई होप दे गेट रेलीगेटेड, बड़े अजीब से हैं, पर थोड़ा मज़ा भी आता है। मिस्टर मैरिनेक इसकी बकचोदियाँ करता रहता है भाई। ट्रीट्स इट लाइक कि वो कोई स्कूल का क्लब बैठा हुआ है, ऐसा प्रीमियर लीग क्लब नहीं है। भाई मेरी मर्ज़ी चलेगी भाई, इट्स माय वे। तो भाई इट्स नॉट लाइक दे आर अ बैड टीम, उनके अगेंस्ट भी हम, हाँ, दे आर लर्निंग अंडर, इट इज़ वर्क इन प्रोग्रेस। कोई मानता क्यों नहीं है भाई? ऐसे थोड़ी ना पिछले सीज़न 15th आए थे, इस सीज़न सीधे टाइटल चार्ज पे चले जाएँगे। वो 5 विन्स इन अ रो वाला भी बात उसकी वजह से कर रहे हैं क्योंकि उसके बाल बहुत बड़े हो गए हैं। वो बाल वाले की वजह से हो रही है बात, ये 5 विन्स, वरना सब लोग कूद रहे होते हैं। अगर कोई नहीं बोला कोई बात नहीं भाई, एक मैच तो ड्रॉ हो सकता है। अगला मैच टॉटनहम है, उनको उनको छो देंगे। क्या गलत है? क्यों नहीं कर सकते? तो हमें क्या भाई, बस यही, ये थोड़ी है कि सीज़न खत्म हो गया। बहुत बड़ा सीज़न है, अभी हारेंगे भी, अभी जीतेंगे भी। तो आई थिंक द आउटरेज इज़ मेबी नो ओवर एम्प्लीफाइड देन इट शुड हैव बीन। और दूसरे को आस-पास देखो, लिवरपूल लॉस्ट 4 मैचेस, अभी भी थर्ड है। लीग इज़ एस। अब एक आर्सेनल ही है जिसको देख के लगता है कि भाई, एक तो क्लीन शीट, क्लीन शीट, क्लीन शीट, सिर्फ़ 3 गोल कंसीड किए हैं इस सीज़न आर्सेनल ने, 3। न्यूकासल had 3 अगेंस्ट वेस्ट हैम अलोन। न्यूकासल 150 मिलियन मिला है उनको वो इसाक, अलेक्जेंडर ग्राहम बेल का। किस पे खर्च किया उनने? हैं? ब्लैक एंटनी। राइट फुटेड एंटनी, इलांगा। वो ब्लैक है तो थोड़ा तेज भी है। रादर फर्स्ट ब्लैक मैन। तो ओके, रेसिज्म असाइड, अरे यार इट इज एंटनी इज फेयरली फर्स्ट। एंटनी तो वन ट्रिक है, बट यू कैन से दैट सेम थिंग अबाउट इलांगा। दूसरा अपना कौन, ये विसा, इंजर्ड, फरवरी में आएगा अब शायद वो F1 के बाद। और कौन आया? जो भी आया वो मुझे क्या लेना देना। तो भाई उनकी हालत देखो, सिटी हालांकि नहीं स्कोर कर, वो पागल हो चुका है इस सीजन। बट इफ डिफिकल्ट इफ बट डूएबल। एस्टन विला ने किया, फिर पता नहीं कि लिवरपूल के अगेंस्ट उस पे भी आएंगे। तो भाई हालांकि को अगर रोक लो, हालांकि को अगर रोक लो, यू कैन स्टॉप सिटी। उनका स्कोरर देखा है, 13 गोल हालांड ने स्कोर करे हैं। फिर सेकंड हाईएस्ट गोल स्कोरर ओन ओन गोल है किसी दूसरी टीम का। चेक करो भाई, मैं मजाक नहीं कर रहा। हालांड ने 13 गोल करे हैं, और सेकंड हाईएस्ट गोल स्कोरर फॉर सिटी, ओन गोल। एक ही प्लेयर हो कि किसी ने किया होगा, पता नहीं कौन से मैच में, देखना पड़ेगा। उसके बाद बाकी सब एक एक गोल पे हैं, कुछ चार पांच। इफ यू स्टॉप हालांड, यू स्टॉप सिटी मोस्ट प्रोबेबली 99 सीजन एटलीस्ट। लिवरपूल का पता है भाई, विला भाई उनके हाथ में खेल के आ गए। उनका मैनेजर बोल रहा है भाई हमें लॉन्ग बॉल नहीं पसंद, लंबे बॉल मत दो हमें, हमें चाहिए गोल सटीक बॉल, पैरों पे बॉल चाहिए। क्या करता है मार्टिनेज? सटीक छोड़ो भाई, सीधे पैर में डाल देता है। साला, व्हाट द फक वाज दैट? पर अब विला तो विला है, वो व्हाई कांट दे अडैप्ट टू कि भाई लॉन्ग खेल लो, वो बोल रहा है हमसे नहीं खेला जाता, खेलो ना तुम भी, क्या कर रहे हो? अब जो भी, बट लिवरपूल, दे एंड द लिवरपूल ऑफ लास्ट ईयर। उनका एक भी साइनिंग अब तक नहीं जमा है एक्सेप्ट एकिटिगे अच्छा है, बाकी सब। एंड यू नो, एंड गेस व्हाट, व्हिच मैच दे वॉन, जहाँ पे उनने कुछ नई साइनिंग्स को बाहर रखा। रॉबर्टसन खेला, कॉनर ब्रैडली खेला, सोबोसलाई मिडफील्ड में आया वापस, ग्रेवेनबर्ग बर्ग भी वापस, एकिटिगे खेला, इसाक बैठा, एंड दे वॉन। यानी वो, तो भाई जब कोई चैंपियन टीम ऐसे गिर सकती, सिटी गिर सकती, तो यूनाइटेड अचानक से ऊपर आ जाए। गिरना तो देखा है, ऊपर आते हुए देखा है कई लोगों को अचानक से। मे बी लेस्टर आई थी, हम लेस्टर नहीं है, बट अचानक से ऊपर कौन आएगा? थोड़ा तो टाइम लगेगा ना। डाउनफॉल इज ऑलवेज फास्ट, है ना? एवरी टाइम किसी का भी देख लो, एक एम्पायर बनाने में भाई सालों लग जाते हैं, वो चलने में, तो उसको गिरने में मिनट्स लग सकते हैं। एक एक चीज गया, तो ट्रस्ट द प्रोसेस मैन। और 10 पॉइंट्स आउट ऑफ 12 इज फकिंग गुड। हम लोग कहाँ है टेबल पे? 8th हैं, 17 पॉइंट। और जो सेकंड है वो 19 पॉइंट्स पे है। सनडरलैंड हैज अ गेम इन हैंड, वो जीत गए तो 20 पे चले, व्हाटएवर, वो भी जाएगा, नहीं ये रह नहीं पाए। अभी तक इतने ऊपर कैसे? तो गोल डिफरेंस अपना टट्टी है, बट इट विल इम्प्रूव। अपने पास द ग्रीक ब्रेड ग्रीक टर्किश ब्रेड स्टिक इस सीजन, उससे पहले ओ ना ना ना, Oh, na, na, na. Bhai, please. वो he is doing good at Trabzonspor. Let him. पैसे दो हमें भाई और ले जाओ. Pioneer may be good, decent backup. Lamons, he's the truth, man. He's the truth. धीरे-धीरे देखो ना स्पाइन बन रही है. सेलेक्ट बढ़िया, मार्टिनेज वापस आ गया. इम्प्रूव ही होने वाले हैं हम. कुछ खराब नहीं हुआ, इम्प्रूव ही होंगे. और हाँ, अगर इन सब के बाद भी इम्प्रूव नहीं होता, इस सीज़न क्या फ़रवरी, मार्च आ गया और फिर भी हग रहे हैं. कहीं 8th 9th पे बैठे हुए हैं. एंड नॉट इवन परफॉर्मेंस इज़ गुड. सब वही वही पूरे दिन चल रहे हैं. मोदी जी अब तक आए ही नहीं यहाँ. इतने दिन आ ही नहीं पाए. फुटबॉल भी बुरा, रिज़ल्ट भी बुरा. तो चिल्लाओ ना भाई, अब चिल्लाना. अभी तो साथ दो टीम का. ऐसे थोड़ी ना कि 2 दिन में तुम्हें भाई चाहिए टाइटल चार्ज. येस, हम सेकंड जा सकते थे और वो डाउनफॉल दिखने में बुरा लगता है कि अरे! 8th पे और सबके दिमाग में आया था सेकंड और 5 विन्स इन बाल काटने हैं. लेकिन भाई ठीक ही है. तुम लॉजिकली तो देखो 2 ही पॉइंट पीछे हैं हम सेकंड से. सनडरलैंड भाई कोई इतना नहीं टिकने वाली. दे विल गो डाउन. मतलब रेलीगेट नहीं होगा. आई डोंट थिंक सो सनडरलैंड इज़ गेटिंग रेलीगेटेड बट दे आर नॉट गोइंग टू सस्टेन ये टॉप 4 फिनिश. आई थिंक मे बी वो यही जहाँ पे हम यूनाइटेड है ना उस जगह पे फिनिश करेगी बाय द एंड ऑफ द सीजन 6, 7, 8 ऐसे कुछ. अगर वो कॉन्फ्रेंस लीग निकाल लेती है दैट विल बी ह्यूज. प्रमोट होते ही कॉन्फ्रेंस लीग, यूरोपा लीग आ गया. लेकिन भाई दैट इज़ द बेस्ट दे कैन डू. हम लोग वी हैव द स्क्वाड. स्क्वाड नहीं फर्स्ट 11 एंड वी नीड साइनिंग्स. इट इज़ अ वर्क इन प्रोग्रेस. रोम वाज़न्ट बिल्ट इन अ डे. बार-बार बोलते रहते हैं. एंड इट वाज़ नॉट बिल्ट इन अ डे. नथिंग इज़ बिल्ट इन अ डे. तो भाई बनने दो. ठीक है? पेशेंस रखो एंड आई थिंक गुड टाइम्स आर अहेड. So enough for today. Time to end the video in the stream. रात में वापस आऊँगा पढ़ने के लिए. लोग में से भी कोई आ जाना. 0 लोगों में से कितने लोग आएँगे? I'll be there. We will be there. We will be there. चलो बाय बाय. नाइट एंड लाइक एंड सब्सक्राइब बाद में अगर देख रहे हो. इन सबको काट के मैं भी किसी दिन क्लिप्स बनाऊँगा. लेकिन चलो अभी के लिए बाय बाय.